guys, welcome back to this page of our lives. We talk a lot about Canada in this channel, and today I have a very good friend of mine, and she'll be talking or answering some questions about Canada, and she'll help me answer some of the questions that you ask, and I will let her introduce herself.
Hi guys, my name is Dee, and like Alice said, I'm her friend.
So Dee, I'm going to be starting with you. She's from Kenya, by the way, if you do not know, right?
Yes, born and raised in Kenya,
Mhm.
relocated to Toronto, lived there for about 12 years before relocating to Calgary. Yeah,
So you've been here for a total of how many years here in
about
Canada?
14 years. Also.
14 years.
Yeah,
So here in Calgary for 2.
yes, and Toronto for the 12.
And she's married, by the way. She's
Yes.
married. The husband is not here, but the husband will be here as our next guest, and he will probably give us his story. So stay tuned, guys. It's gonna be interesting. And so, Dee, I want to start with a question that people ask frequently, like, what is the weather like in Canada? And yeah, talk about Calgary because that's where you are. How is the
Okay.
weather in Calgary like?
The weather in Calgary can be a little bit colder. Mostly because we live close, Calgary is close to the mountains, and that has an impact on how the Calgarian weather is. And we find that weather is in the east is a little bit more milder. The winters in the east, I mean like Toronto, Quebec, those areas is a little bit milder, but we find that here is a little bit colder in the west.
Yeah, so if you don't do well in cold places, so don't come to Calgary. Go to BC or Toronto.
But you have to be prepared for the, what happens with the, a lot of people. Those are older towns, and lots more people. So it's a little bit more expensive. So you have to be prepared for that.
Yeah, and with that said, Calgary is not cheap. Also,
yes,
it's not cheap.
Yeah.
So if they are coming to start their lives,
yes.
would you advise them to come to Calgary as their first stop, or would you advise them to land to a different smaller cities?
Yeah, I would say starting your life here in Calgary, I would recommend it.
It's tricky, hey?
I would recommend it because it's a growing city, and you wanna be somewhere where it's growing. Because when you're in the other cities that are a little bit more expensive, just because there's lots more people, and like for example, the housing market has been there for quite a while, so that means that it's not as cheap, if I would use that word, to stay there. Yeah.
So, but it also depends on what you're coming to do. If you're coming to work, then this is a good place to find a job. And if you're going to school, go to a smaller city or a smaller town. So that way you can save up some money and pay for your tuition.
Yeah. You can just do some research and find out the smaller towns that you would feel like you want to go to. The smallest town here is 2 hours away.
Yeah, which one?
Lethbridge.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, like 2.5.
Yeah, 2.5. Yeah, that's south of Calgary, and north of Calgary is Red Deer. So that's a smaller town. So
I think I don't know how small Red Deer is. Yeah, but it's small compared to here. Yes, it's small. Yeah. So the next question that they ask is how easy is it to get a job in Canada?
We all start from somewhere. So the ideal thing to do is for somebody to, find out like what you would want to do. And there are always websites that have like lists of jobs. And for starters, when you come here and you have an idea of what you want to do, all you have to do is go use an agency. Agencies, they are good for short-term jobs which give you the experience that you need, because employers, it's not easy to find an employer that wants to hire you on like permanently, right? Yeah. But for starting, it's good to start with agencies because you can get short-term employment, which gives you the experience that you need.
So you get the agencies here?
Yes, employment agencies. Yes.
Oh, I haven't heard of that.
Yeah, they're there, and they are regulated, right? So it's not like in other places where they are not regulated. Here they are regulated.
Also, don't be picky too. Don't forget to tell them that. Like if you come here and you don't have that job that
Yeah.
you want, you will get there eventually, but don't
Yeah.
be picky. Whatever you get, take that and work towards whatever you want.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so don't be picky. And
Yeah.
is it a land of milk and honey? Because they think we pick monies from the trees.
um, it everyone has their own experience, right? So put God first, and He will direct you. You will never go wrong with that. And He always likes to be involved in our lives. Some people are like, involve God in, like, when you're looking for a visa, but then when you start looking for, when you land here and you start looking for work, you kick him out of it. You still have a long way to go. And in terms of like life, the visa is not the last point. You need God to find a secure job, which church to go, and just how to navigate life in general. And whether to stay in Calgary or move to another place, you still need God to direct you in all of that.
Yeah, so don't put him in your back pocket.
Exactly.
Yeah. Put him in your back pocket. Yeah, so the other question is, so how is the living situation in Canada?
Different cities have different living situations. When you are single, the living situation is relatively, fairer, right? Because of course you have less expenses. At that point of your life, you can, share a room, not share a room, but share accommodation, like get some renters that are taking in people, like different rooms. For example, a house has 3 rooms, so you can start there, right? And that's not that is the way that's how most people start.
What advice would you give to a person that's looking to relocate to Canada?
Okay. First of all, you can never go wrong when you do your own research and see where you want to live, right? And I've heard of people that you come here and you get in a hotel, and while you're in a hotel, you look for places, or if you know somebody here already, they can help you look for a place, right? Or another scenario is if somebody is coming and you want to go into your own house, you can send the money to that trusted friend, and then the person will be looking for a house for you. And then once the house is secured, then you can come in and then go into your own house. Now, when all that, or you can have if you have a friend that can accommodate you, that's another route that I've had people use. But if all else fails and you are at the airport and you're stranded, I've heard of cases where people have been taken to the shelter.
Okay.
Yeah,
and if
so
you don't
that's
know
where.
anyone here, who's going to take you to the shelter or pick you from the airport if you don't know anybody?
So for somebody who's relocating, other than those, if all else fails and you want to go to the shelter, you can Google. Google is always a good resource. You can Google a hotel. You can Google a shelter to go to. You can get a taxi that will take you to either of these places that you want to go. In that, there are government resources that have been set for those kind of situations, for those kind of conditions.
I know the next question that they will ask is, what do I do? Because, like, when you're bringing your phone from the country that you're coming from, if it's not a smartphone, because most of us, we don't bring our smartphones. So you give it to someone and then you bring a Mwizi. So they're going to ask, how am I going to use Google if I don't have Wi-Fi or internet because it goes offline? Well, that's what I did. I did not bring my smartphone. Yeah, I brought a Mwizi. So what I would advise them personally is to ask someone. Like, Canadians are very generous with information, right? They're very generous and kind, so they're not going to mislead you. So just ask an officer. Borrow a phone. Like if you're in the airport, just borrow a phone. They'll give you a phone. Just do whatever you need to do with it and give it back. Right?
Right. That's one of
Or
if
what
you
else?
find that good person to people Canadians are usually very generous.
So last question. So how does a newcomer connect to their community?
Whenever you decided to come to whichever city in Canada, whether it's in Toronto or Edmonton or Calgary, there are community groups that have been set up. So all you need to do is just go to Google and look for community, like let's say, for example, Kenyan community in whatever city you're going, if it's Edmonton or Calgary or Toronto or BC, whatever, you just Google the Kenyan community and also get in touch with communities such as a church. There are also churches, and then some of the groups that I've heard is like find a person or two from your community and
your country, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a Kenyan community. Like whatever you fit in, like you don't have to find your own people.
Exactly. When you find help, just take it. Not necessarily, it doesn't necessarily, even though your own people can understand you more, but if God leads you to somebody that is not, can you just take that help?
Yeah, if he leads you to a Nigerian, Ghanaian, whoever he brings, take it. Yeah, so guys, that's it. I hope this video was helpful, and thanks Dee for answering the questions. Until next time, and stay tuned.
Bye.
Adios.